Hi there, welcome to today's vlog. I've got a bit of a throaty problem, so my voice is a bit different today. But hopefully I'll get through this. I want to talk today about two remarkable women. The first is Jennifer Rees Larkham. Jennifer died, I think, a couple of weeks ago. She was known for her prayer, healing, speaking, writing ministries. If you get hold of some of her books, read them. They're well worth reading. In 1982, she suffered a very serious illness, the result of which was that she was confined to a wheelchair and in constant pain, which lasted some 8 years until she was healed when somebody prayed for her, and she had a remarkable testimony. Not long ago, she was interviewed by Canon J. John in one of his Facing the Canon series, and she was talking about the fact that she'd recently been diagnosed with lung cancer, even though she never smoked in her life. And although she'd experienced this remarkable healing earlier in her life, she felt that this time it wasn't going to happen that way, that she didn't even ask God for healing. She felt that it was time when God was going to call her home. Well, she went on to talk about how at some stage earlier in her life she'd been very, very seriously ill and had what you might call a near-death experience, and felt that she'd been taken up to heaven, leaving a hospital bed, and had this conversation with Jesus, and she saw something of the beauty of heaven and longed to be there, but Jesus said, do you want to come in or do you want to go back? And she longed to go in, but she had 6 young children, and she felt that it was her duty to return, and she said to Jesus, I'd like to go back and be with my children and my husband. And so she returned to the hospital bed, and the nurses and doctors buzzing around trying to sort her out. And so she continued to live life on planet Earth, and she's been through lots of difficult times, times of pain. And she said in that interview with Canon J. John, I've regretted that decision ever since, the decision to say to Jesus, I want to go back. But now she's facing death. She's imminently facing death. When she spoke to him, she said, I'm looking forward to it so much. I know it's a beautiful place, a place without pain and tears and sadness, and I'm going to be with Jesus. And she assured those who are watching that video clip, if our trust is in Jesus, then we have that same assurance that death is not to be afraid of. And to be honest, I don't particularly want to leave my family now, but if death came, then I would be ready, and looking forward to that time to spend with Jesus in his kingdom. Jennifer Rees Larkham, we thank God for her life. Second lady is a lady called Sally McClung. Now, Sally was married to a gentle giant called Floyd McClung. Together they were founders of All Nations, which is a mission organisation. They travelled and ministered in many different parts of the world. And some years ago, they felt God calling them to South Africa to be in a new ministry. So they went there, and then Floyd suffered a really, really bad illness. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it meant that he was more or less paralysed, couldn't speak. And so Sally had to look after him, obviously with help. So that was a period of some years when Floyd was in that situation, and then he died. Sally herself has had been diagnosed with cancer. She's fighting that battle, but she posts regularly on Facebook. It's prayers for Sally McClung, and she's real and honest about the trials that she's facing, the ups and downs, the difficult times, the fact that she didn't understand why God allows certain things, why God allowed Floyd to go through what he experienced. But always her posts are full of faith. And she wrote this recently. Let me read it to you. Many times on the hardest of days, I've been keenly aware that I am carried through the day on a miraculous wave of peace that comes from the Father's heart. So she's so keenly aware of God's love and his presence, even in the suffering that she has and is experiencing. Wonderful lady. And then finally, just to link in with Sally, I think I've maybe shown this before in a previous vlog. This is a book that Floyd wrote many years ago, The Healing Power of Love. I went to hear him at a day conference in Sheffield many years ago, and I asked him to sign the book. And inside, there he is. He's signed it, and he's put, to Steve, God is greater. What a wonderful thing to remember, that whatever we face, whatever problems, whatever issues, whatever struggles, God is greater. And he invites us to put our trust in Jesus. Therefore, our eternal future is secure. What better news could we have in this world where we're bombarded with bad news? God is good. God is greater. So I give thanks for the life of Jennifer Rees-Larkham, and for the life ongoing of Sally McClung. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening today. Hope my voice is back to normal next time.